Uh, Thank you, Tarek Baloch. There was a good speech, and thanks for highlighting the historical facts and the situation in Balochistan to make our audience to understand what's going on in Balochistan. Now I would like to introduce Mr. T-Kumar. He just got arrived. Welcome, Mr. T-Kumar. T-Kumar is the Advocacy Director for the International Issues of Amnesty International USA. He served as a human rights monitor in many Asian countries as well as in Bosnia, Haiti, Guatemala, and South Africa. He has also served as a director of several refugee ships and refugee camps. Kumar often testifies before the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives and frequently lectures at the Foreign Service Institutes. Welcome, Mr. T-Kumar.
Thank you very much. Amnesty International is extremely pleased to be here to discuss the situation in Pakistan, which did not get much attention around the world, leave alone inside Pakistan. That's the tragedy of the situation in Balochistan. There are so many abuses taking place, but only very few people are aware of it, and even the news media inside Pakistan and international media is ignoring it. That's why this conference is important, to highlight and educate people what's happening in that particular region of Pakistan. Amnesty International have been working on Balochistan for several years now. We are talking about 20, 30 years, when abuses committed were so intense that we had to have at one point an international campaign to raise awareness. The major concerns that we face, that we have in Balochistan, is disappearance. Disappearance is something when people have been taken into custody by the security forces. They will deny that they have taken them into custody, and also they will hold them in secret detentions, and very rarely these disappeared people will reappear. Most of the times they get killed. So one of the major issues in Balochistan that we documented is the disappearance. Families will not know what happened to their loved ones, and it's a climate of fear. Basically, it's terrorizing the population. We have documented one of the largest disappearances in Pakistan, in Balochistan. Now, Northwest Frontier is also picking up, but Balochistan always rank one of the top. The other concern we have is the killing of Balochis and abduction of Balochis. Killing of Balochis, when they kill Balochis, they pretty much dump their bodies on the streets as a mark of warning to others. So there are reports, and we have documented, that you found scores of Baloch bodies, bullet-riddled bodies found across Balochistan over the years, and recently it's picking up. That's very disturbing. Second one is abduction. Again, you keep them, torture them, and terrorize them. What sends this message to the human rights community is that who comes to power in Pakistan, it could be military dictatorship, that's what everyone said. Musharraf is a military dictatorship. Or democratic leadership, as we found now under Zardari. The treatment of Balochis are the same. That's the disturbing part that we are seeing there. So democracy doesn't mean anything to Baloch citizens in Pakistan. We thought when democracy came, especially after Chief Justice was reinstated, that things will be okay in terms of human rights. But we were wrong. And we are seeing an increase in disappearances and torture in Balochistan. The kill and dump technique, that's what I mentioned earlier. The bullet-ridden bodies being thrown away, thrown in the streets, is one of the techniques that the Pakistani government is using to silence peaceful and other critics of Balochistan. So the kill and dump is a technique very few governments use, but in Pakistan it's been effectively used. Families, when their loved ones have been kidnapped or disappeared, they don't speak out. The reason they don't speak out is they are fearful that the person who have been abducted or taken away may be killed. Second, the rest of the families may have been abducted or killed. So it's an effective terror that's being inserted into the minds of Baloch people to keep their mouth shut when their own family members, loved ones, father, brother, sons have been taken away. That is one of the disturbing developments in Balochistan that we did not see in other parts of, we have seen, but not to the extent that we have seen in Balochistan. It comes to the conclusion of what can be done outside. Amnesty International, as a human rights organization, have been campaigning. Of course, we campaign on every country. And we kind of drift away and come back. The reason is not we didn't want to work on Balochistan because there are other issues that pops up and we take it up. But we are now focusing again because of the recent increase of abductions. And we are making our voice heard that Pakistan's elected representatives have a duty and responsibility towards Baloch people. These people have been singled out because they belong to the Baloch community. It's kind of a race-based policy that's taking place there. It's because you belong to a Baloch ethnic group, you are at this danger of being abducted, kidnapped, or killed. So this singling out of Baloch because of their nationalities sends a wrong signal to everyone around the world, and especially to Baloch, especially to Pakistanis, that they can kill Baloch people and get away. That's what is happening, by the way. They can kill people and get away. Few, if anyone, have been taken for task. Few, if anyone, have been imprisoned or detained because of this abuse that's happening in Balochistan. So it's a total impunity that's taking place in Balochistan. And it's remote, so no one have access. It's terror, and even journalists are scared to go there. And whoever who goes to Pakistan focus on northwest frontier, not in Balochistan. So today, it is our responsibility to ensure that international community at least have a look at it. The first challenge we have is to ensure that the special team that works in the State Department and the White House, that was headed by Ambassador Holbrooke, now I can't remember who is heading it, that team also should look into Balochistan. Not only northwest frontier, which should be looked into, by the way, terrible things are happening. And also across the border in Afghanistan. So they should look into those areas. But they should also look into Balochistan. You can't selectively look into abuses happening in one part of Pakistan because it's relevant to your war on terror, and not leave the other part where abuses are increasing and terrorizing the population. Second is for the US government in total to keep Balochistan in their interactions with their counterparts. When Secretary Clinton or President Obama meets, it should be one of the talking points. That's where Baloch nation people here, as well as NGO communities like us, have a duty and responsibility to ensure that that's happening. We have seen disturbing developments when Chief Bukti was killed, we got the information that the weapons that was used, bunker busting bombs as well as the high-tech listening devices, were actually supplied by the US. So we urged them, wait a minute, do you know your weapons that were given, they gave the weapon to track down bin Laden. But Musharraf did not use for bin Laden. He was using for Baloch, their own citizens. Then they said, oh, we have to have a check. And they were kind of evading. And I think your governor came, Baloch governor was here a couple of years ago. In a public event, I raised this issue. How can you use American weapons that was given to you for some other purpose against your own people? He said, oh, the only weapon we have is Pakistan, sorry, US weapon, so we can't do anything. That means they admitted that they used it. That's the danger part that we are hearing. That's what US Congress should act to ensure the weapons that have been given to Pakistan for specific reasons should not be used against Balochis or any other communities in Pakistan. At that time, we thought its dictatorship is being strengthened by these weapons. Musharraf was there. Now I don't know what the justification they are going to say. Now so-called democracy is there. So by the end of the day, it is human rights groups and communities that have to speak up. Above all, it is you, majority I presume are from Balochistan, it is you who should stand up to push us. This event is one of those events. This, I now cover Middle East, so I'm so busy, that's what I kind of pulled in 10 different directions. But I wanted to come because I thought it's so important. So the responsibility is with the Baloch people. Keep the pressure up, and we will act, but we also have a responsibility. We hope very soon US government will incorporate Balochistan in their overall strategy when dealing with Pakistan and Afghanistan, because that's the way they look at it now. That's a challenge we have, that's a duty we have, and I'm sure we will succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just please ask Kumar a question.
How are you?
I'm good. But I'm very upset to hear how bad the situation has become in Balochistan. Years ago, I'm Catherine Porter. I created the Congressional Human Rights Conference.
Thank you so much.
And there's so much more that we could do. Years ago, we passed a piece of legislation that cut off funding to Turkey because of their use of American tax dollars to burn and raze villages, extrajudicial killing, torture, etc. Why can't we do that again in terms of Balochistan? It will create incredible awareness. We'll find a couple members of Congress to perhaps draft this legislation and circulate it, and dear colleagues, and let's have another hearing in what is now the Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission. You maybe have already started this, but I want to link arms with you. And
yeah, thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
Catherine, I have to, only few know that Catherine is a champion for human rights on her own right. And the Human Rights Caucus about 15 years ago, 20 years ago was started by your husband, but with you. He was a member of Congress, Congressman Porter. I'm so glad to see you this morning. When I walked in, I was so happy that you are here. And let's be in touch. Obviously, we are in touch on a number of issues. So let's be in touch on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.